Okay, you liked it?
Although Fred Spiegel and Carol Walsh had never actually met, this isn't the first time their paths have crossed. How old were you here?
24.
62 years ago, in April of 1945, Buck Sergeant Carol Walsh was a soldier, fighting his way through some of the bloodiest battles of World War II.
I'd been in combat 10 months by then. My mind was numb.
Fred Spiegel was just a kid.
I think I was about 11 years old.
Right before you got sent to the camp.
Yeah.
By 1945, he was 13 and a prisoner in the Nazi concentration camp at Bergen-Belsen.
There were huge piles of dead all over the place.
The British soldiers who liberated the camp that April called the conditions less than human. But about a week before the liberation, Fred Spiegel was loaded onto this train along with about 2,500 other prisoners. What did they tell you at the time?
At the time, didn't tell us anything.
Just get on the train?
Yeah, get on the train and shut up.
The train had traveled about 85 miles, almost to the town of Magdeburg, when it was abandoned by its German guards, who feared capture by the advancing Americans. The trapped survivors were found by a two-man tank crew, one of whom was Carol Walsh.
They were, of course, were horrified, by what they saw. And
you could see that on their faces?
Yeah.
They were thin, gaunt. You know how the homeless look today? That's how they looked.
The prisoners on the train were freed by the Americans that day. Do you feel a sense of gratitude?
Oh, sure, of course.
Thank you so much for being here.
62 years passed. Spiegel wrote a book about his life and talks to schools about the Holocaust. Walsh became a state Supreme Court justice in New York and never saw what he did as heroic.
No, they don't owe us anything. Not a thing. No. We owe them. We owe those people a debt because of what the world allowed to happen to them.
He certainly never expected to see them again, but earlier this month, a high school in upstate New York invited Walsh and several of the survivors to talk to students studying the Holocaust. Soldier and survivor embraced for the first time.
You are the...
Carol Walsh.
Ah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
To see these men, their lives lived out.
Yes, yes.
What is that like?
That's wonderful. Here they were on their way to death and allowed to grow into manhood, and what they did with it, what they did with their lives.
And now their lives have intersected to piece together a story in hopes that it'll never happen again. Tracy Smith, CBS News, Hudson Falls, New York.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. I remember.